I'd like to welcome everyone to the September 7th, 2017 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. If everyone would please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Introductions, I'm Jeff Benton, President of the Board this year. To my left is Vice President Gary Merrill. To my right is fellow Commissioner Barb Lewis and our County Administrator, Farzana Ahmed. And Sarah DeNova is our clerk today, so we'll turn it over to her.
Resolution number 17-921, in the matter of approving the electronic record of the proceedings from regular meeting held September 7th and special session held September 6th, 2017.
So moved.
That date should not be September 7th.
Yes.
That is today. So we'll
you're
go back
right.
to September 3rd?
4th.
4th. Thank you.
Okay, we'll make that correction.
Is it on? Thank you, Lovey.
Yeah.
August
Oh,
31st.
4th, we didn't have a
Yeah.
meeting, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
I went to law school to do that.
I now make the motion with those corrections.
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-921. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
You do have public comment today.
Okay, great. Chief Schuling, I think we have some new paramedics to swear in. It's a very special day.
Morning, Commissioners. Chief Schuling, Delaware County, and us. In public safety, it's very common for us to swear an oath of office specifically to uphold the Constitution as well as many other parts. We know today that we take our jobs very seriously. This is not just a pastime, but is a true career. Paramedics live this oath inside work and outside work. Just recently at the county softball tournament, I guess it's a tournament, it was remarked to me several times by several people that were there that your people, while they were still playing ball, they were still paramedics, and that's something that holds very true. So this morning we have 4 paramedics that will be swearing into full-time service with Delaware County Emergency Medical Services. To our left side we have paramedic Dustin Schaaf, paramedic Ryan Kirby, paramedic Cammie Payne, and paramedic John Young.
Great. So, I get the honor of issuing or doing the swearing in. I have an oath here. And congratulate you all, first of all, on being hired. And it's a big responsibility. You know, we take this stuff very seriously, and I know you do. Chief Schuling and his team provide great leadership, and this is a very important activity. Probably maybe the most important activity that the county does provide. So, we look forward to you being a big part of the team. Okay, if everyone could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution. Of the United States of America. The laws of the state of Ohio. And the resolutions, policies, and procedures. Of Delaware County. And will. To the best of my ability. Discharge the duties. Of paramedic of Delaware County. Congratulations. You're all officially paramedics.
Three. 1, 2, 3.
All right, very good.
something like a talent show.
That'd be really quiet. That would be really quiet.
Great. Thanks. It's always great to, it's a special day. Those are always fun, the swearing in. Okay.
Resolution number 17-922, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CMA PR 0906.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 17-922. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-923, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 17-923. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Next item has been pulled, so item number 7, resolution number 17-924, in the matter of approving the First Amendment to the contract for provision of child placement and related services between the Delaware County Department of Job and Family Services, the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, and Cincinnati's Children's Hospital Medical Center.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Good morning, Commissioners. David Dombrowski with Job and Family Services. This particular contract is for a very, very troubled young man who has experienced in his lifetime with us, he's 11 years old, 17 placement changes and 5 placement changes this year. It's a fairly expensive contract, and the per diem is over $400 a day for this young man. Just to give you a sense, his last placement resulted in broken bones for staff, and the young man had attacked one of the staff to the point of having to undergo surgery. So the Mental Health Board has agreed to split the cost with us on this particular young man, which is why this one is such an expensive contract for us. So I'd appreciate your approval.
The 400 is the total price, and we pay half of that?
So the total per day.
Per day,
is
right.
400. It's a little bit more than that. It's like 430.
Right.
And right now, Mental Health has agreed on a month-to-month basis to pay half of that. So we're paying $200 of it right now.
Right.
There is potential that at some point in the future, Mental Health will pull back funding based on the availability of funding, so we might have to pick up the total cost at some point.
Any sort of timeline on this, David?
This young man will probably not leave placement. He's 11 years old, and we will likely have him until he ages out of the system, unfortunately. This is our last option for an Ohio placement. After this, there are no more providers who are willing to take this young man. So I know, like I said, it's a little bit on the expensive side, but if our next step would be to have to move him out of state. So.
All right.
Great. Vote?
Vote on motion 17-924. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, David.
David.
Hey, David, while you're here, I just had a conversation with the firm that's doing your strategic planning.
Yes.
And I know you got your retreat Monday, and
Yes.
Great conversation. You know, I want to applaud you for taking the initiative to develop a long-range plan. That's very
Yeah,
important.
thank you.
So, had a good conversation. I think they'll ultimately produce a good plan. So.
That's my goal. So we met last week before with our staff, and asked a series of questions based on that SWOT analysis. And we had met with all of our external partners. We had 35 partners show up that day to give us some feedback into the plan. So it'll be good to set the 5-year strategic plan for the agency and to help us kind of guide resources and where we can target our efforts. So thank you for that, and I appreciate everybody's feedback on that.
Sure.
I was
Looks
impressed,
promising.
too, with the quality of the researchers.
Yeah, they asked good questions and had a good conversation.
Yeah, ask good questions, listen, and good follow-up questions, too.
Very good. I'm looking forward to the results of it.
Yeah.
We had good answers. You guys
Yeah, we had great answers.
Yeah, we hope so. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
Okay, thanks.
Resolution number 17-925, in the matter of authorizing the use of a procurement card for the Sheriff's Office.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Vote. Whoops. We have...
I'm Leslie Ross. I'm the fiscal manager with Delaware County Sheriff's Office.
Great.
Just here if you have any questions at all. This is an additional request.
Seems like pretty routine. Do we have any questions? All right. We're good. Take a vote.
Vote on motion 17-925. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 17-926, in the matter of approving in a first amendment to the agreement between the governing board of the Educational Service Center of Central Ohio, the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, and the Delaware County Sheriff's Office regarding the position of Delaware County Substance Abuse Liaison.
It's a minor thing, I think it should say A first, but grammatically speaking, but
My mom would be happy if she spotted that.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Discussion.
Dave Wiseman, Delaware County Sheriff's Office. Just kind of want to give you a brief overview of what this actually is. We see names and titles sometimes. It's like, what's this person actually doing? So wrapping up number 9 and number 10 here, this person's called our drug liaison, substance abuse for the Sheriff's Office. And what this position is doing is trying to be prevention more than an enforcement side with everything we have going on in our community now. And not only to hit just the drug people we're out arresting, but also to get education to the family members and to also those that are also having a problem with opiates. So with this position, they're coordinating with our school resource office for education in the schools with evidence-based training and education to the kids. We also have started initiating Narcan from the Sheriff's Office. We're distributing that. And then this drug substance abuse liaison is also going out, and we're following up with family members and the individuals after there's an overdose and talking about education and prevention and what we have available here in the county to offer them an education piece to hopefully help them, but also the family members are also affected by the drugs and what's happening there. So I just want to give you that insight. If you have any questions, I can answer your questions.
No, appreciate the explanation. Very needed.
How long has this been in place?
This is our first year, so we've had the position for a year, so this is our first renewal coming up.
Okay.
And so it's between the Mental Health Recovery Board plus the schools also, so trying to get that community partnership and collaboration with everybody
right.
that sees that need to work together.
Right, makes sense. What's the cost sharing?
The dollars break down to, I don't know what the exact dollars, but it's between the two entities in the Sheriff's Office splitting the dollars around. I have to look at the contract to see where it splits out at.
Okay, so they're each contributing.
Yeah, it's just not from the Sheriff's Office. We're actually receiving dollars from the Mental Health and Recovery Board and plus the school system put together to fund this position.
Okay. Other questions? Okay. Take a vote.
Thank
Vote
you.
on motion 17-926. Mr. Merrill? Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number
you.
17-927, in the matter of approving a memorandum of understanding between the Delaware Morrow Mental Health and Recovery Services Board and the Sheriff of Delaware County, Ohio, regarding the position of Delaware County Substance Abuse Liaison.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 17-927. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-928, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer improvement plans for Nelson Farm, Section 2, Phase C, Parts 1 and 2.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Megg with the Regional Sewer District. This set of plans has met all our requirements, and we're recommending submission to the EPA for the PTI.
Okay, vote?
Vote on motion 17-928. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-929, in the matter of accepting sanitary sewer improvements for the village at Bale Canyon, Phases 2 through 6.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
This project has been completed and met all of our requirements and all the testing, and we're recommending approval for use.
Vote?
Vote on motion 929. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-930, in the matter of authorizing the use of a procurement card for the Regional Sewer District.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
This P card is for a new manager that we recently hired. We've created an electronic maintenance manager position who will be in charge of all of our electronics within the district at the pump stations and at the treatment plants, the SCADA, the PLCs. So we're recommending that he gets a P card as well.
Okay, vote?
Vote on motion 17-930. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Resolution number 17-931, in the matter of approving change order 011 to the construction manager contract between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and Lend-Lease U.S. Construction Incorporated for the Sandusky Street Courthouse and related parking facility.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
John Melvin, Director of Facilities. I do need note one update to these list of change orders in change order number 11. Item number 6, the change order request number 120. Sean had put in the original amount, but there was a revised amount submitted once all the work was completed on this for the fireproofing between the two levels. The final cost of that change order request was $4,097.77. And the final change order amount from change order number 11 is $44,673.26. You will note that it's a variety of change order requests. There are 2 items on here that the architect is paying for, and will give us credit back on the next pay app, his next invoice. And there's a couple owner-requested items just to clean up some areas on the exterior of the building. So, happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Timeline, we got to ask.
We're meeting with the contractor today and selling this afternoon to go over the delay. They're still indicating the middle of September. I think it'll be the end of September before they're actually substantially complete. Past that, we'll need another probably 30 days to get all the audio video equipment installed in the courtrooms. That contractor's actually on site this week, starting to do some preliminary cable pulls, and also train all the judges and staff and even local attorneys on all the new courtroom equipment and stuff. So it's probably substantially complete end of September. Looking at move date, probably end of October, 1st of November.
Okay.
I'm still not comfortable pinning that date down yet.
I understand.
Just to ensure accuracy, I would like to amend my motion for the changes that we just discussed, and if you'll second the, just amend the motion because we had a couple of changes on it.
Update the pricing.
Right.
Sure.
On item number 6.
Second.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we'll take a vote.
So, motion 17-931. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
That brings us to administrator reports.
Good morning. I had a meeting with the MOPSI director, William Murdoch, yesterday, and when the grant for US 33 was awarded to a council of governments that included City of Dublin, I believe Union County, as well as ODOT, that grant came from a special program for mobility and new technology. A few weeks ago, the City of Worthington manager, myself, Dennis Cooley, met with the COTA CEO, Curtis Stitt, and we talked about looking at the 23 corridor as the next corridor to be studied for transit. And as you know, the COTA CEO is retiring, so that kind of sort of fell on the wayside, but William Murdoch took hold of it, and he reached out to me yesterday, and he says, look, why don't we apply for that next grant when that becomes available for the 23 corridor? And now that doesn't mean that project will get it, the grant, but what he did tell me was that everybody he spoke to, including OSU and ODOT, and Worthington and others were all supportive of using the 23 corridor as the next corridor that should be studied for smart transportation. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to have driverless buses running all over 23, but smart transportation for transit can mean many things, including signal preemption. As you know, when a fire engine is going down the road, they get green, everybody else gets red. That's preemption. In some places, in some very congested cities, they are using preemption for buses as well. We are not at that. Yes, we are not at that point, but we have to be prepared for that. Our population is only going to grow, and as that population grows, you cannot widen your way out of it. If you look at any city that's bigger than Columbus, Cleveland to the north, Chicago, Atlanta. These cities have more lanes of traffic coming into them than Columbus, but they are even more congested for the simple reason that people always go where people already are. So that congestion is going to keep growing, and at some point we will not be able to widen our way out of this, but we will have to look at these alternate modes of transportation. So I think it's the right time to get that conversation started and see where we go.
Could county commissioners get that technology to make the lights turn green? Approaching the lights.
Maybe that can be the pilot project?
Try it.
Yeah.
Gee,
That's great news.
Yeah, that could be very exciting.
You know, one of the things William pointed out, and this conversation actually started when I was at ODOT, hey, should we throw in a fiber optic cable here? It was just a conversation that started, and one thing led to another, and now you've got a big project. So there is a lot of will at the federal level and at the decision-making levels to fund smart transportation.
33 corridor project is really exciting.
That project, and then there's a project up at the Ohio Turnpike. So, Ohio seems to be taking the lead, at least in the Midwest. I'm sure that they're doing a lot of things in the West Coast, as they usually do. But I think that this would be a good move as well.
Thank you. Boy, that's great news.
Yeah. Commissioner Lewis?
Good meeting. I don't have anything.
All right. Commissioner Merrill?
I'll just mention one thing. I was privileged to attend, which we co-sponsor as three commissioners, the PN 5K and Child Kids Run Sunday at the fairgrounds. It was amazing to see these, I'm going to guess, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids having to run the whole racetrack. I thought that was a little long, but they did it.
They did it.
They did it. And
with energy.
it was well attended for the first race. I know Jen, I looked around for Jen, I know she ran in it. But I don't see her, so I can't give her accolades. I think we had a couple other people from the county. But for the first race, 140, 150 people. I saw your husband there signing people up, and I thought it was a good first event.
Yes.
So hopefully they can grow it, and it seems like a good time to do it during as a prelude to the race. And we got the horse parade this weekend, this Sunday. That's all I have.
Yeah, I was going to mention the horse parade. It's Sunday. It starts at the fairgrounds, goes down Pennsylvania, Sandusky, Winter, and back out to the fairgrounds. That's at 3 o'clock, starting at the fairgrounds at 3, so it'll be different times depending on where on the route you are. But that's always a lot of fun. It's great event, very well attended, and looks like it'll be really nice. Just a few other things. The economic development has been very active in doing some really neat things. The Evans Farm project is moving along. I want to compliment Bob Lamb and Chris Boserman. I know Farzan was there. They had a meeting that was very productive, the developers.
Mike and Tiffany as well.
Yeah, Mike Fromer, Tiffany, Mag was there. I know there are a lot of people working on this to make it come to fruition. The parade is hopefully going to be there next year, Parade Homes. So, it's really an exciting project, and it looks like it's moving. It's been a challenge, but everybody's been working at it, and it looks like they're making positive progress. The Creekside project is attracting some real interest and some getting some publicity, and that's very exciting because that's 100 acres right in the heart of Orange Township, and commercially good commercial development possibilities, and getting some interest, and schools are behind it. So again, it's really a nice project. And the energy zone is starting to get the fact that we created this energy zone in Delaware County is attracting some interest, which is not what I really expected initially, but apparently it is right now. So that's really good. I'm going to be going to the Farm Sciences Review on September 19th. I've never done that before, and I've always been interested. So see what's going on down in Madison County, going with Rob Leeds, and I'm really interested to do that because there's so much going on in the farm industry that they've got a lot of things to talk about. Got a survey, I think it was from Morpsey, of the top 100 crash sites in Central Ohio, and Delaware County had one of the top 100. And anybody want to make a guess on where that was? Nope.
State Route 3 by Polaris?
Nope. The Point.
Point.
In Delaware, in the city.
Oh.
It was number 72. So out of 100, that was the 72nd most crashes, and that was the only one.
Okay.
So
I've never seen a wreck there, so
I haven't either.
they're at the wrong times.
But I thought it was interesting, in a couple of points. Number one, we only had one, and it was number 72, so I think that's a compliment to all the people who are involved in managing transportation, which is a whole bunch of people in Delaware County.
I've said this as humor, and that's by the ODOT office.
Oh, that's right.
I say with humor. That's okay.
The Parade of Homes has started. It started last weekend. I think it's off to a good start. The reception, we're doing a reception on the 12th, next Tuesday, late afternoon, and that's good. I've got to mention the Indians just finished their 14th consecutive victory. That's their second year in a row where they've had 14 wins in a row. I know you're all excited to hear that, but I think that's the first time anybody's done that in like 80 years. So I just want to highlight that the Indians are doing very well and playoff bound, so that's good. And lastly, but certainly we can't omit the LSU-Oklahoma game Saturday night. Commissioner Merrill and I I think we've agreed to the usual bet.
You do all the talking, but it should be especially enjoyable if the Sooners pull it out.
What's the bet?
The bet last year, and I think we'll do the same thing this year, was that the winner has to wear, the loser has to wear the winner's tie at the next session. So we'll see Gary on Monday morning with a Ohio State tie on.
So, yeah, understand, I am a Buckeye fan, but I am a graduate of the University of Oklahoma, so I got to be politically correct here. This is one game where I have to favor my alma mater, so everybody, I hope, understands that. I just hope it's a good game.
Yes, with the right team winning. Okay, I think that's it.
You didn't mention Evans Farm. We do have a work session scheduled for that.
Yes,
Monday. So
Yep. Yeah, good to get an update there. A lot has been accomplished. Still a ways to go. It's complex. So, no executive session. Okay. With that, no further business. We do stand adjourned. There you go. So everybody excited about the